Greetings, brothers and sisters. I'll do the Hollywood celebrities dropping like flies intro. I got a long bunch of comments to get to. Hilarious comments. And I wanted to make one thing clear. I was going to do this on my other video on my other channel yesterday because this debate keeps on going on about the movie, the Sound of Freedom movie. And I made some, disparaging comments about the people. Like I said, you're just stupid. That's the best you could do, whatever it was. A bunch of people requoted it back to me. And I wanted to say this first. That was in response to one of these people, a blonde woman from Texas, based on her picture and her title of her name. And I wanted to say I have nothing against blondes from Texas because a few other people commented. My wife was born in Texas. She grew up in the Midwest, but she's got a little Texan in her. And she also is blonde. So there's no issues. I was just pointing out, like this was the prototypical person that would have a problem. But that didn't mean I have anything against Texas. I've been there multiple times, multiple cities to do with Sahaj Marg meditation gatherings. There's lots of centers there, lots of practitioners there were years ago. And I like Texas. I was there. And, a lot of interesting things come out of Texas. It's a different kind of a place, but I don't really have a problem with, any state. The state I dislike the most is Connecticut. I would never go back there. I don't like the New England area either. So that's, that's that. But what I was going to say is this woman accused me of being one of these people, one of these abusers, or at least being an enabler or being complicit, which is a harsh accusation just because I can see something in the movie that you guys can't. I can see how you guys are getting worked. And there's lots of other hostile comments. And so this is the stuff that QBs do. And, we're just tired of it. Like, it's just, you're just on a lower level. And that's okay if you know that you're on a lower level. Like, I know that I'm on a lower level all the time. Like, let's say I'm talking to somebody who is an expert mechanic. I don't think I know more than the mechanic. Or any number of different jobs and things that I need. When I'm listening to a video about something, I'm trying to learn something because I need to learn it to do it. I'm not sitting there going, oh, I know more than this person. Now, I might say the video sucks because I would make a better video because I'm, better at making videos. I might say something like that, in my mind. I'm not going to say it in a comment because the person's doing me a favor. I might be bummed by how long it takes for me to find the information that I need, something like that. There might be some issues I have with the video, but I don't think I know more than the person because I'm going to the person to teach me something. And I've learned a lot on YouTube, whether it be cooking different kinds of foods, whether it be farming stuff, whether it be, doing stuff like acupressure and things like this and, healthcare stuff. I mean, so many things. And, it's one of the first places I look at because I learn better from videos than I do from reading something. And so, I understand when I'm at a lower level and you're at a lower level. You're coming into an existing paradigm, the truth community, the QBs, and you think you're running things, you think you know things, and you don't. And this is another reflection of that. And you might not be a QB now or whatever, but you're QB adjacent if you like this movie. And you're not getting it, like we've all said it. And many of you have come in as a right-wing person and then you get it. Or at least you're respectful, which is fine. But I'm talking to people who aren't. I'm talking about the Marjorie Taylor Greene types. I'm going to cover her again on my other channel, whenever, tomorrow or the next day. But I just wanted to get to these comments because they're kind of hilarious, some of them. And then there's just the point. But I want to start off with that, right? And so, let me see if this is a comment. Here, this is a good one. The person writes, Paul, grown adult men don't say boop, boop, or beep. I don't say beep. Say the word or don't say the word. Be a man. And grown-ass men don't leave comments like this. this is the other thing I want to say. What I'm talking about here is just being honest with yourself about the movie, and accepting that there's these the deeper understanding and why you've been worked and played and manipulated. But you don't want to admit you're wrong, right? Which is a sign of, there's a certain level of immaturity. But I'm not even claiming to be an adult, right? Like, I know saying boop is goofy. I enjoy doing it. And then it went on from there. There's a little more to the comment. I'm going to get back to what I was saying here. The person says, and get this channel taken down by YouTube. Don't be booping dummy. Or start your own channel and say the words and see if you don't get flagged. The content is more important than to have it taken down over a few curse words. Or the boop. This is the person responding again. And they don't say boop. It's a V word. Or the boop is a curse word now. Or boop is a curse word now. Wow. Way to fight the system. LMANO. So you think that by getting the video taken down or getting demonetized and working for free, I'm fighting the system? Like, this is mocking the system, right? By exaggerating the boop, and everyone knows what I'm talking about, it's become a thing. People have bought the T-shirt, right? Lots of people have bought the T-shirt. I enjoy saying it and doing it, right? I enjoy doing the whole boop thing. And it's funny. Like, people enjoy it. Now, swearing is something that I can still do. This is about monetization of the video. And YouTube allows you to swear. But I don't care if they don't, right? Like, there's too much swearing. I'm a vulgar person. I swear a lot. But I can see the benefit of not swearing. Kids watch the videos, young people. It's a bad example. Like, I tried to give up swearing. I did for a while. My dad taught me to swear when I was 7. Or he was, that's when I started doing it. And he swore a lot. And I didn't think it was a good example for my kids and whatever. So I don't even care about it. Like, I don't care. That level of so-called censorship from YouTube, swearing is degraded and it's low class. I do it, but it is. It is what it is. I'm not a high-class person. I'm not classy. But I enjoy the boops. So I've been doing it, and I've been booping out the swears, and I think it's funny. And people think it's funny, and it's what it is, right? And more likely than not, this person was bummed and they liked the movie. That's why I think that I didn't say it, but it's implied because of the video that they commented on. But when you roll out the be a man, be a man, be a man. All right, let's move to the next one. The person writes, basically, you want to live in a bubble. Got it. And how the right-wing truthers got worked and played on the sound of freedom. Now, I didn't say that, and I kind of do live in a bubble. There's lots of good people out there. I'm just not into it. I don't like, I'm not looking for friends. I'm not looking to interact more with people, and, I'm, kind of a loner. Plenty of interaction and time I spend with my wife, and, some time I spend with my son, and then I go once in a while out in public. But a bubble's fine with me, but that's not what I was saying. I don't even know what that's in reference to. Like that, it's an hour and a half long video and you leave a stupid comment like that. There was another comment. Here, I copied this one. So I made a comment video where the person said, I'm 15 minutes in and you still haven't gotten to the point. And this person wrote, Paul, I'm 1,500 videos in and I'm still waiting for you to get to the point, which I thought was a funny joke. Somebody wrote high level of spirituality here, but that's not to me offensive. That's funny. And I don't have a point. Like, there's two things here. The point of this channel can be summed up in the very basic one sentence that God is inside of you. That God is inside of you. That you have God and divinity inside of you and you can connect to God, and that's the solution. So that's the solution I offer here. And then there's other minor solutions. There's other, whatever, but that's basically it. Then there's the method, the Sajmarg method, what we're doing over with Gratefullness that has benefited me and other people and helps people facilitate that contact and connection. And that's about it, right? And, I say that in different ways. And Sometimes I say it like that. So that's the general point of the channel. The other things, it's pointless. Like most of the stuff we're doing right now is pointless. It's stuff that isn't going to last. There's going to be transformational things happening. Anything we built, anything we create, anything we do might get wiped out. Like we don't know for sure. I'm not saying it will get wiped out, but there's a good chance it will. Everything that we're doing now, but we are moving forward ourselves, which is, connecting to the divinity within us, our soul, finding out what our soul's path and pursuing that path. And that continues on through your next incarnation or wherever you go after you die. And, you're heading in the right direction. We can all head in the right direction. Very few people are. So that's, the simple point. But, in general, the videos themselves don't have a point, right? I mean, I'm finding things to laugh at and mock and whatever. Like I'm not, when all this stuff with the Sound of Freedom, the difference between me and you guys and the people who made the movie and all this stuff that you're talking about, how this is going to change things, it's not going to change anything. The only thing that can change something is taking the system down or letting the system collapse. Either way you want to look at it. The systemic collapse is the only thing that's going to stop the system from being evil and abuse and things like that. And abuse will happen without a governmental agencies endorsing it. So it'll still exist. The only thing that's really going to wipe it out is when people are connected to God in such a level, such a high level that they all become saints and people are higher, embrace their higher nature and leave their lower nature behind. And, we all have to do that. And when that happens, like we can all do that personally, but everyone, that's a personal choice. You can't make people do that. You can't make people to embrace their higher nature. It doesn't work. So you can do that the best you can. And when you do that, you pull other people up. So that's, the general sense of this channel. But like I'm honest with myself. Like I don't expect my videos to change the world or, anything I'm doing to change the world. I don't believe in saving the system. Even if we could, I don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't want the system to collapse for selfish reasons, for my own personal, comforts and, my wife and my, whatever, people I know and, I'll view to some extent. But I'm honest about it. Like I'm not pretending there's some hopium, some answer that, doesn't exist. And so let's get back to it here. There's a longer comment here. And the person writes, here, I got to get to the... I agree with most... I agree with you on most things. RFK Jr. being the exception. I don't think I banned this person, but I should go just for that alone. Because, it's not about agreeing. I don't care if you agree. This isn't about me hoping that everyone agrees with everything I say. Or even trying to convince you that what I say is right. I don't get into that because then I get bummed out when I don't convince you, right? It's none of those things. I enjoy talking about these things. I have opinions. There's divinity comes through me. So there's a spiritual experience that goes with making these videos. And it's what I'm supposed to be doing. And then the person says, and from what I've seen on the movie Sound of Freedom, I agree it's manipulation, bull bleep, and I won't watch it. It's a movie and not a documentary. License is taken. But then here's the but, right? And there doesn't need to be a but because you're saying that you agree with me, but somehow you disagree on RFK Jr., which I don't care. That's your choice. I don't need to hear that. Don't need to know about it. But also you agree on the movie. And so then you have to drop some. This is definitely getting banned if I didn't. I have to go back and do it. Hopefully I did. Well, if I didn't, it'll be easier to find. So, whatever. I don't think I was going to ban the person at first, but now I'm like, this is exactly the kind of comment I don't want, right? Except when I do this. But could it be that people who disagree with you are not stupid, but just taken different paths to get where they have subscribed to your YouTube because they got a lot of it, because they get a lot out of it. I know you don't care about subscribers or influencing people, but you do, and maybe you are planting seeds that will grow that you don't even know about. I've had death threats and people saying terrible things to me about my son who was illegally killed in Iraq, my motherhood, my marriage, and just about everything. I've learned to ignore them for my own wellness of being. Again, why are we hearing about this? My favorite parts of your videos is when you give energy to the commenters who disagree with you. It gives them a sense of power that they got to you. Just my humble thoughts. Do what you will or won't. Well, you say that I don't care about these things, and then you say it's giving them power. The reason I do that is I get less of these comments than most people, because there's always a chance I'll do one of these things, and people don't like to hear it. I don't think people listening to the comment videos feel good about it, and I'm not affected by it. I'm not like, they haven't gotten to me. I don't remember the last time I felt anything emotionally from the comments. Maybe a little frustration. And, the only feeling I get is the idiocracy thing. It's depressing to see how stupid humanity is, right? Occasionally people write a comment so that I might cover it here, whatever, that is what it is. But people enjoy it, and it's a way for me to, every once in a while at an event, just like I can go in on people because they've done something I told them not to do, which is cross a boundary. I'm not like just slamming people and being like just a jerk, which I could be, just in general. Like I have, an excuse. I have permission. Like they've started the rules of engagement, and I can just go in hard on them and say, whatever. And then I can escalate what I say. Like there's rules of engagement that I have. And when these stupid people watch the movie and commented, again, if you like the movie, you like the movie, right? You're whatever. Well, you can't see it, you can't see it. But when you start commenting to all of us who can see how you're getting manipulated, it's like you sound like a child because you're not seeing something and we can see it. And that's, the basis of the truth community, that we can see something that you can't. And when someone has a superior, or is, a superior view of the things that are going on, then, and you were out there saying, no, you have a superior view from a much lower vantage point, like that's when things get sucky for you, right? Like you're just being obstinate, and like, you're wallowing in your stupidity and your ignorance, which is, no one wants to deal with that, right? And so when people like that started to accuse me or saying things and did what Hubies did, like that woman said, I would never want you around my children. I'm like, I don't want to be around your bratty children. Like, you think I offer a babysitting service? Like, I'm not, And so then the person says, oh, you're one of them, or you're an enabler, what side you on, are you a truther? These are the things that, they say, instead of just saying, well, maybe we don't see things that you do. Oh, you need to watch the movie, then you'll get it. No, we know what's in the movie. I can see through the guy, the Tim Ballard thing. The guy on my video yesterday on my other channel, he said he didn't know what QBs were, and he's an NSA agent. Like, it's constant. You guys are embracing the letter, especially the NSA here. You're embracing these agencies that you patriots hate. You Republicans hate these agencies, CIA, FBI, NSA, and then you embrace them. Oh, this guy used to work for the NSA. Yeah, so did Anderson Cooper. So did Daily Kos guy. So did Tucker Carlson. These guys who worked for the CIA, and then they get successful, and people said, oh, they stopped working for the CIA? No. They became successful because they're CIA shills, right? These are all people who have association with the intelligence community. And I don't even hate the intelligence community. I don't, care about it like you guys do, because it's, keeping our country afloat in a weird kind of a way. Our country feeds off evil. They have to do evil things to keep the country going, because our country doesn't feed off truth. It feeds off of lies and deception, our economic system and everything else, right? But getting back to what this commenter said, I do plant seeds because there's information and energy in my videos that are valuable. And some people recognize it. Some people come back to it. Some people see it, but they dislike some part of it, like this woman commented. And, that's the price you pay, right? Like we've never negotiated a price for this exchange of you. There's never been a guru dakshina, which again, I'm not a guru or whatever, but there's never been a price set on me giving you the information that I have, right? Because I don't work for you. Like I don't do it for you. Like I don't do it, as a gift to you. I do it as a gift to the spiritual beings and God who helped me through and are still helping me evolve. So I'm doing it as a service to pay forward what I was given. That's the Sajmark tradition. They give for free this divine energy and all the consciousness that goes with it, and I've been elevated by the system, and so I give back through the system. But, I have my, my personality and things that are difficult. People, I push people away, and people aren't going to like me, and I can be abrasive, and I don't care. I don't care if I hear your feelings. I don't care about these things. That's the price you have to pay. Everything comes with a price. I'm not demanding anything from you, but you hearing some things that hurt your feelings, that's the price you pay here. You hearing things that you don't agree with, that's the price you pay. And gratitude is what you give back. You don't whine about it. You don't complain to me. You don't try to change me. You don't tell me I'm wrong. Not that I'm perfect and I don't need to change. That's not for you to do. I've made that clear. I understand I have to change and grow, and I'm not against changing and growing, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm saying this is what I need to do to present the information to you, and part of that is comment videos. It's for my benefit to, verbalize these things and make fun of people and mock people. That's what I do here. That's how I cope with the internet and the stupidity and all the rest of it. It's how I, I'm able to, otherwise, why, I'd be stressed out. I'm not, it's having to choke things back or hold things in or suppress things is bad for you. And there's a level of suckiness I have to deal with here with the comments and everything else. And there's a level of suckiness I have to deal with watching mainstream media. Like people say, I'm glad you watch this stuff for us, so we don't. So that's part of the suckiness of this job. And this is the way I deal with it. And you don't like it, you can leave. Again, you're getting something, right? I'm getting something by having viewers, but I have enough, there's enough people coming and going and whatever here to keep me afloat. And, I could be better and nicer, and I could be more polite. I could be more, team building. I'm not a team builder. I'm not a networker. These are things that I have limitations in. And that's, one of the reasons I don't, I accept that I have less subscribers and less viewers because sometimes a hard pill to swallow. But that's the price you pay. That's what you got to, that's what you have to endure to get the gifts that you're getting here, right? And, and leaving comments like this is a reflection of ingratitude and, pushing something that I told you not to push, doing something I told you not to do, right? That's why you get banned, and that's why you get mocked, because you're failing in the relationship. You're doing something that you shouldn't do. Even though I've said don't do it, you do it anyway. I don't, when you start talking about this person saying, I mostly agree with you, well, then just shut the F up, right? But you're going to point out the one thing that bothers you, don't leave these comments, right? I'm not, if you're getting something, then shut up and receive and be grateful for it. Otherwise, leave. Again, I'm not here to sort of, tell you you're great when you're not. I'm not here to lie to you or win you over and things. This is not a social site. I'm not a social person. You're receiving a commodity. You're receiving knowledge and energy and other things, a perspective that is beneficial to you as this person puts seeds that are planted. And, there's the price you pay for the gifts that you're getting. Everything costs something, and that's, the price for you. You're going to get your feelings hurt. And, boo effing who. Oh, here's a person. I think I did ban that other person. Here's a person I didn't ban. The person writes, I think some conservatives would be willing to work with the other side, but there's no way that would happen, sadly. The Shadow, whoever, do a good job of weaponizing division in this society. Conservatives are not willing to work with. There are some people who are just good people, and they're nice, respectful people. They treat people with respect, and they're kind and whatever, and those people are willing to work with anybody. But conservatives as a group, no. And liberals as a group, because you already have a group identifier, and you've been split up and you've bought into the system putting you in one group or another. But, there shouldn't be, I don't know anybody like this, but there might be people like this, that they believe everything the conservative and the Republicans say. and any Democrat who believes everything the Democrats say. Most people are, they have some liberal beliefs and some conservative beliefs. I mean, I think that's the case. I hope that's the case. And there are issues like abortion, which I feel like legally, I don't think that the battle's legal. And I said this in my other channel yesterday, but I'm going to say something different about it here. Like, I believe that abortion is murder because a soul is, life begins at conception. So that's a human life in there. So I believe it's murder, for whoever that is, right? Again, it's a lot different than it's doing something where you're you're having a doctor perform something on you to something you can't see inside your body is a lot different than killing a person who's already alive, right? I mean, you can see the distinction here. So it's different than that, right? It's easier, especially when they're telling you it's okay. When the government's saying, oh, this is okay, this is not murder. And then the doctor who's the authority, yeah, this is not murder or whatever. And so, yeah, it's not like I think every woman who has an abortion is a murderer. Like, I don't think that way, right? Because most of them are in a difficult, they're in a horrible situation. And so that isn't the issue for me. But it is, the legal part isn't the issue. And I talked about how all these, people who are, if you've heard the video, you heard the video. That you could reach out, you could help these women, you could, instead of putting your money into fighting the pro-choice people, you could put it into helping the women. But the issue is that most Republicans and most Democrats want to help the other side or connect with the other side on their terms. And that's not what you do, right? What you do is you find out what the other person needs and you give it to them despite whether you want to do that or not. And that's what you do in marriage. If you want to have a successful marriage, you find out what the other person wants and needs, and you give that to them. And even if they don't even know they want it. And you don't care about whether it's hard for you to do or, you don't look for something for yourself. I mean, obviously, it only works if the other person reciprocates. It only works if the other person in the marriage reciprocates. But if you're both looking at what the other person needs and you want to serve that person, you want to help that person, you want to make that person happy, you want to make that person better, you want to, you find out what they need and you give it to them in a way that's, not like you're, oh, look at, I'm giving this to you. Look at me, I'm so great. Like nothing like that, right? You do it without thinking, right? You just serve the person naturally. And if they need something, you listen to them and you do your best to please them. And, you're doing that for God. Like it's a vertical relationship. You're not serving that person. You're serving God by serving that person. Like God is a vertical relationship with God. That God has said, all right, this is your spouse, and this is what they need from you, and this is the work you're supposed to do. And you say, okay, God, I'll do this work. And so you have a vertical relationship, and your reward is from God, whatever reward you get from the other person, or gratitude you get from the other person, and love and stuff that comes back to you, like that's a bonus, right? And the other person does the same thing. And only if two people are doing that can you have a successful relationship. But if you want to mansplain or you want to, women-splain or feminist-splain or whatever demographic you are, woke-splain or QB-splain everything to people, and you're like, I'm willing to work with them if they accept how great I am and how wrong they are. Like if your plan to work with them is about them first admitting that they're wrong, well, then that's never going to work. You can't force them to admit they're wrong. A prerequisite, right? You have to find a way to package. If you're a Republican Party, if you're truly a person who wants to work with other people, you have to learn to package your agenda in a liberal-friendly way. And the liberals have fallen for Joe Biden. The liberals have fallen for Kamala Harris. The liberals have fallen for Greta Thunberg. The liberals have fallen. These are people who have, they've fallen for the you-know-what, for the boop. These are people, many of them, who are, my ex was the person who told me or taught me about the dangers of the boop, right? And she is one of the most anti-boop persons I know. And I found out from my son that she got it, right, for COVID. And I said to my son, she's the most anti, and I explained this because he didn't even know it, right? Because my kids didn't get any of them. My kids are all free from it. They're all healthy and they're, whatever. And he was like, And he asked her about it, and she said, well, only this, I'm against them. I'm just only this one. And I'm like, that's the worst one. Like this one that Trump rushed out, and she's a liberal and hates Trump, and this is the one. I'm like, and horrible health already. Somebody who's aged dramatically. I couldn't believe it, right? And so the liberals have shown that they'll fall for anything. They'll eat anything. Anything that's anti-Trump, they'll believe. Any of this stuff, this new agenda, the stuff with redefining gender and all these things. If you package it in their belief system, and you make it a part of their belief system, they'll buy anything. Same thing with you Republicans. If you package it in your belief system, you'll accept anything, right? Like I've seen a complete flip-flop where the Republicans are now against things the Democrats used to be, and the Democrats are now against things the Republicans because they've packaged it, and you guys are just so dopey, you'll fall for anything. And so if you package it correctly, you could win them over. But then you have to re-win the Republicans, so like they'll turn on it now because they're like, oh, this is what the Democrats believe, so we're going to turn on it, right? And so like you got to come together collectively as a group and realize you're dealing with dopes on the other side, and they'll fall for anything, like this movie or like that stuff that the left has fallen for, and they'll fall for anything, and you can just package it correctly, and you can bring people in. Like I don't want to bring people in. I'm not a people person, but that's what I would do if I was, if I had these goals and goals that you have. I would find ways to package these things and sell them on a level that these people understand and agree with. Find something that you have in common, understand their belief system, and sell it to them in ways without trying to, demean them and tell them how wrong and come off superior yourself and all these things, right? Because they're easy to dupe. We see how easy both sides are to dupe. Anyways, that went a lot longer than I thought, but let's get into the other stuff here. Okay, so I just want to add one more thing here. You're not even about the stuff to do with the sound of freedom. If you don't have universal support in the truth community, or almost universal support in the truth community, how do you expect for this thing to do anything, the movie to have an effect, right? There's so much pushback in the truth community. So many videos are being sent to me by people that are, truthers who are putting out, calling BS on this movie. And so if there's a battle in the truth community, you ain't ready for prime time. Like if you had universal support, or, you're never going to get universal support because people in the truth community are very suspicious and, very cynical and whatever. But if you had a clean bill of health coming out of the truth community, then you could talk about bringing in other groups of people. But when the truth community is divided on something, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to have any effect. That means that you have one demographic, one small group of people that are into this movie. And it's significant in terms of, they've gotten a lot of views, they've made a lot of money, but it's not enough to move the needle. And you have to understand this. This is one thing the QBs have never understood. If you're getting pushback from other people in the truth community who've been here longer and have a higher level of comprehension and understanding what's going on, you right-wing truthers, you Trumpers, then you need to sit back and shut up, right? Because this is like OG stuff. Like this is, this is stuff where we've seen this before, and you're in a different level. You're on an entry level. That's why I call you QBs. You're newbies, right? You're not, you're not veterans of this thing. You're very emotional, and you think that your discoveries are universal and mind-blowing, and people have had these ideas for years now. This has been something that's an ongoing journey, and you're at the starting point. You're at point one. You're at the beginning. You've just taken a step off of the starting line, and you think you know everything. You think you know what's going to happen. You think you know more and whatever. And we've seen this. And we've seen we've gone through the stages ourselves. And you're at stage one, maybe stage two, whatever. And there's, an infinite amount of stages probably to this kind of thing. And so there's this inner debate about this thing. And you can, like I said, if you liked it, you liked it. Whatever, it's a movie, you liked it. But there's nothing that's going to happen. It's not going to affect anything. Even if the truth community endorsed it and it got some run in the mainstream sheeple community, it's not going to change anything. If you want to change stuff, you have to have a reasonable, a a reality-based plan. And there has to be steps, there has to be financing, there has to be, a way that you achieve it, like an achievement of your goal. It just can't be imaginary. Oh, a bunch of people watch this movie and they'll get so outraged that they'll push their politicians to finally do something, and the politicians will actually do what they're supposed to do, and there'll be no money involved in exchange. There's just none of that, right? Like, you have to have a plan. All right, this is how you do this, or how do you counter this? When the powerful opposition, the people I call the controllers, put in a counter movement, how do you counter it? And you guys haven't countered anything, right? Like, you guys failed with Trump, right? Whatever happened with Trump in his second run for presidency, the QBs were out there. The QBs were, free range QBs. And they were just out there, and it backfired. I mean, it's been a disaster. Trump's being indicted again, and everything that happened in that January thing post-election, and what happened with COVID and all these things. Like, Trump wasn't your guy, and you guys didn't do a good job, and you're not an asset. The Q community is not an asset. You're a governmental asset. You're an asset for the NSA. You're an asset for the intelligence community, and you don't even know it. You're volunteering for them, and you don't even know it. And no matter how many times you fail and the Q movement fails, you don't give up on it. It's just reinvent yourself, and you don't understand you need to evolve. You need to move forward. Again, I don't know why I'm even talking to you. Like, I don't want QBs here, and whatever it is. But there has to be a graduation to the next level, and so I don't know if that's going to happen or not, for you or I guess eventually, everybody's got to go somewhere. All right, let's get into it here.
They're dropping like flies.
Listen, people are dropping like flies out there.
I am
pissed off. We're dropping like flies around here.
We're dropping like flies here. Jeez, sir, 2 more just went down. Dropping like flies.
Too many people around here been dropping like flies already, and where's that getting us, huh? Nowhere. Fast.
Biden's being Biden's being extremist.
Crush that fly.
Okay, a little bit of Jamie Foxx and Madonna news to start off with. Jamie Foxx held a party to celebrate his recovery as he continues with outpatient rehab. And so, him posting, them posting those weird videos with him finding a lady's purse, and the video with him on the boat. They realize that they have to do something, right? Like, if they're going to say he needs his privacy, that's fine. Again, everyone's entitled to their privacy or whatever it is. But if he's doing damage control by showing a couple of videos that are inconclusive, and we don't really know what's happened to him, and it's just him out and about, that he's not dead. I mean, we know he's not dead unless it's a body double. That means that they're posting things to do damage control, and they were weird videos. Like, it makes things worse. Everything that we've seen is, given those original rumors that came supposedly from one of, they were reported by a Hollywood reporter that said he had paralyzed and blind after he got the bloop. So there was that. That was a sad one. That was one of my worst bloops yet. What happened to Jamie Foxx, it's clear he doesn't want us to know yet. And so this is the insider, and that's basically everything I'm saying. That and after months of confusion, that may be intentional. Nobody knows what's going on with Jamie Foxx, and after months of confusion, that may be intentional. Yeah, it is. Like, there's something going on, and they're not showing you. The riverboat thing and all this stuff. It's just weird. Like, there's something, that is severe that's happened to him. And if it was caused by it's like his duty to say something, because all the reasons that, you have to say something. Then there's Madonna. It says here, I got naked with Madonna in college and have the pics to tell the tale, as far as I can tell. But here she is in college. This is her in college. And there she is, right? Stay classy, Madonna. Madonna posts on social media for the first time since leaving hospital, and she's looking well. And here is her social media posts. Right here. This is her hugging some flowers. And a single rose could be my garden, a single friend, my world. Thank you. What's with the weird Britney Spears rose stuff? Like, if you know, Britney Spears has a weird rose obsession. It's just all weird. Like, you're just, they just, I don't know. Like, she's just a mess. Netanyahu, this is the president of Israel, leaves hospital following dehydration. Doctors implant heart monitor. So that's two different things, right? Did he have a heart implant already? Let's just look at what the article says here. But it says, after all-night hospitalization, Sheba Medical Center says Premier's heart is completely normal. And doctors used a subcutaneous Holter monitor, as is customary. So they're monitoring his heart, is what they're saying. They implanted a heart monitor so that his health could be further tracked. So now he's walking around with a heart monitor just because he was dehydrated. It just makes total sense. Speaking of heart monitor, look at Jojo Magoo. It's like he can't lift his chin here. This is only 15 seconds, but it looks like he's just barely making it. And he, has this, he just gets so, wiped out when he's talking.
And we brought Israelis and Palestinians together at a political level, and Aqua and as well as Shram. Yes. And as I affirmed the Prime Minister.
Okay, he's, he ain't going to make it. I mean, I said it before, but, this is bad. My wife sent me this a couple days ago. This is the Finnish Hobby Horse Championship of 2023. And someone else sent me the same thing this morning on my other browser. But this is what they do. Look at me. I'm a horse. Look at me. Look at me prance. I don't need a horse. I'm a horse and a rider built into one. Look at me go. Look at me go. Look at me gallop. Look at me prance. Look at me canter. Oh, look at me do my fancy step. I'm a horse. The great part is all these people waiting to get their turn. My kids used to do this. My daughter Anna loved horses, and she, they used to pretend that they were, this is like little kids do. It shouldn't be a competition, right? Look at me go. Look at me go. Look at my prance. Look at me go. Look at my horse. I'm a horse and a puss and all in one. I'm a centaur. Look at me go. Let me stop. Okay, they prance. Oh, look at my feet up in the air. Yes, let me go. Let me do it. Let's go. I'm a horse. Look at me jump. Woo! I nailed it. Woo! I got it too. I got it with my foot. Let's walk in line. Look at it go. We're all horses. We're all horses and riders. Look at us go. And somebody ended up winning that thing. And they well deserved it, because that's something that, that's clearly a competition that could be judged fairly. Passenger takes control of plane, crashes in Massachusetts after pilot has medical problem. This has happened a lot where pilots are dropping like flies. They get radiated. They absorb a lot of radiation from the atmosphere. And stewardesses or flight attendants as well. Like, it should be a job. They consider it a job that there's hazardous. This guy was 79. Hazardous radiation, job, like as a category. Here's Alice Cooper, who my wife sent me this. That so many viewers say he's a Christian. Like, it's ridiculous. He's in this Hollywood vampire band with Johnny Depp. There's the baby with panda eyes and the money, and you get the idea here. And then on the inside there's this reptilian skin. There's a album called $1 Million Baby. There's all that stuff there. You know, way to go, Alice. Way to go, Alice. Men are injecting lip filler into their penises to add inches of girth. John Turndall, 33, said the procedure made his confidence go through the roof. But Paul, 39, no relation, was left with a big, squishy, lumpy disaster after his first shots. Nobody wants a big, squishy, lumpy disaster, so that's happening, right? Way to go. Way to keep it real. Trains derail in White Marsh Township, forcing evacuations, road closures. There's just so many of these things. I don't know if people are just paying attention to them or now they're just happening all the time. And it's all like toxic stuff. And I mean, there's all these train issues and toxic spills and whatever it might be. This is near Philadelphia Inquirer, I guess. Stoughton Public School community mourning loss of beloved assistant school principal. Jennifer Jacobs, 41, is her. And so there's no cause of death. This is what she looked like, 41 years old. You know, dropping like flies. You know, somebody sent me this, thinking that I was running an ad on Paul Joseph Watson, but that's not. I don't run ads for Apocalypse Now. Apocalypse Now, POT channel viewers also watch this channel. And they said Paul Joseph Watson, and this says includes paid promotion. Now, this might be something different. I'm glad the person sent me this because this might be a better way for me to go, is to, they run ads. Like I get this on my phone every once in a while, but this isn't an ad for me. It's an ad for Paul Joseph Watson channel, which is, I don't know. He's an Alex Jones guy. I don't know what's up with this thing, but I think he's paying for ads to be run like this. This is not Google ads, which I'm using, which is totally sucky. Like I got to do a report. They just keep on taking more and more of my money. Like this channel, I'm gaining subscribers and I'm not running ads. And that one, I'm losing subscribers. Like it's just, they suck so bad. But this is something else, and again, I see this on my phone. And it says, because you watch this channel, we're recommending this channel. And so I'm going to look into this. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it's we're just, fighting a losing battle here. This is New York real estate prices. So there's all this, millions of square feet in these, this is like prime real estate. All this stuff is worthless. Manhattan office buildings are dangerously empty and crushed by debt, and their owners are in over their heads. So this is stuff that would be millions of dollars in rent for these, prestigious offices. Some of these look like almost like penthouse stuff. $41 million in mortgage debt. They're just Blackstone gave back the keys. I mean, all these places vacant, 70% vacancy up here. And so all these buildings are empty. Commercial real estate is something that took a huge hit during COVID. People who bought commercial real estate and were renting, now all these businesses are going out of business. And, there's these empty buildings and it's going to be absorbed by, I don't know, the Chinese or by, my big-time money people. I mean, it's been a huge transfer of wealth because of the COVID lockdown. A lot of people who are like millionaires and richer people are losing money, because of the issues, of course, poorer people. And then the richest people are just absorbing it all, or big corporations or countries or whatever. That's an ongoing issue. And I forgot to mention this, I'm in the editing process here, but we all know, or most of us know, that rich people are leaving New York and California. Like they're leaving blue states. All these blue states are getting hammered. They're moving to red states, Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, lots in Florida. California, they're moving to Texas and some of these other states, and then New York, they're moving down the coast. And that tells you everything you need to know. Rich people realize that this agenda is effed. And these are blue people, many of them they claim to be Democrats, but they realize that Democratic policies, the liberal policies, are driving this country into the ground, and they're bailing on these blue states and these blue cities. Okay, so the NBA three-point line is around 23 feet, 9 inches away from the rim. The WNBA is 22 feet, 2 inches away. So it's about a foot and a half closer. Because this story broke, this woman, Sabrina Longlonscu, set WNBA and NBA record, right? Sabrina Longlonscu sets a WNBA and NBA all-time record in three-point contest. And so you would think that she made more shots than men did, right? But the issue with this is that it's significantly closer, right? You see the difference. So here's the NBA here in green, right? And here is the WNBA. So it's significantly closer, right? Which, again, shows you that they are acknowledging that there's a difference between women's sports and men's sports, that the women have a closer three-point line. And so she didn't set a record versus the NBA because she was a foot and a half, more than a foot and a half closer to the basket. And, the closer you are, the easier it is to score. That's why they don't have as much physical strength. And so putting it out there like she now has, the WNBA is always taking a hit. It's mocked quite a bit. And what she did was significant. I think she made a number of shots, more than, men have made in the same competition. The difference is she made it from closer in. So you can't say that she set a record. Like it's not, it's, it's not, it's not the same shot, right? Like you can't call it the same thing. And it also, this idea of men competing with women, that it's acknowledged based in the court and whatever they do, that women have, it's like the women have the women's, you go to a golf course and then there's the women's tee and there's the men's tee, right? Because women don't have the physical strength to hit the ball as far. It's not a knock against women. It's just a fact, right? Kiss of death. Authorities are warning anyone who spends time outdoors in Texas to be on the lookout for the kissing bugs, whose bite could lead to the heart failure or even stroke in humans. Wow. It's the bugs. It's the kissing bugs. Not something else. It's the kissing bugs. It's not anything else. It's just kissing bugs and exercise and so many things that now are leading to heart failure. Wow, absolutely shocked to hear that CBS 2's Elise Finch has passed away. She was an absolute joy to watch growing up, sending prayers to her family and CBS News team. So she, that's somebody who's younger than me. She was like 50 years old, 49 years old. And so there's that. Former President Trump says he's been told by the special counsel that he's a target for criminal probe and efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Here's the CNN report. This is what Trump wrote. Deranged Jack Smith, the prosecutor by Joe Biden's DOJ, sent a letter again Sunday night saying I am a target of the January grand jury investigation, giving me a short 4 days to report to the grand jury, which almost always means an arrest and indictment. And so, again, boy, they're dragging this thing on. And there was a video I have up I haven't gotten to on my other channel about this, that the trial might not take place till after the election. And that's, consistent with them just dragging everything on. So they could, Trump could win the presidency and then go to jail after that. Like it's, they're just milking this thing for everything it's worth. Harvard researchers claim to have found age-reversing chemicals that may become fountain of youth. Not chemicals, right? Chemicals. Bohemian Grove, a secretive club for the powerful, sued by workers over wages. Even Bohemian Grove is taking it on the chin. This is a creepy. If you know anything about this, it's a creepy, club that they have this. They worship this owl god. I forget what the owl god is. Not Moloch or whatever they say. But they do a ritualistic sacrifice of their innocence in the cremation of care. And this is all famous and rich people, presidents, and, all these, elite type of people in the redwood forests of California.
Miranda Lambert is here, and all sorts of feedback after she recently stopped mid-concert to yell at some of her fans. So during a recent performance of her Velvet Rodeo, it's a residency in Vegas, she stopped the concert and said, "I'm going to stop right here for a second. These girls are worried about taking a selfie and not listening to the song, and she said, beep-ing me off," because I'm not sure if I'm going to...
She beeped herself. She stole my bit here.
Beep-ing me off, because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that word on TV. Mm-hmm. It sounds like hiss.
It sounds like hiss. What could it be? What could this beep be? So she beeped herself. Phoenix Inferno, 19th straight day of 110 degree heat. That's crazy. 110 degrees is just hot. I experienced this in India and then in Nevada and Utah. And it's just hot. Like it's, there's, especially like in these cities where you go to a parking lot and it's, it's like a black tar parking lot that's absorbing all this heat and radiating it off. It's, where you could actually cook an egg on the sidewalk. And you just walk to the parking lot. And it's like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Like, it's like life-threatening. UN Security Council to hold first talks on AI risks. It's already over, right? The AI is already, it's like too far gone. It's already in the process of destroying the system. It's a race against time to see what ends up getting us first. Friends and colleagues mourn sudden death of beloved CBS News anchor, meteorologist Elisa Finch. Here it is right here.
As we mentioned at the top of the show, this is a very difficult morning for our CBS 2 family.
Our colleague and dear friend Elise Finch passed
I don't believe that they're actually crying.
Away yesterday. This morning, we are remembering her and sharing some of those treasured memories.
There she goes. Oh, it's the person. She was 51 years old. I got that wrong. I said 49. I didn't do my maths correctly. Died suddenly over the weekend at a local hospital. The cause of death has not been yet determined. So here she is, doing her weather thing, and those women are crying for her. But they're not, doing their duty and saying that this is about something else that, Jamie Foxx and these other people won't talk about as well. And people are dropping like flies. Deaths of 4 women found in 3 months are linked, Oregon officials say. So I guess there's women dropping like flies out there in Oregon, which is a strange place. Bill Gates seen lunching, I thought it said lurching, with girlfriend Paula Hurd. He's a lurcher. And so this is girlfriend Paula Hurd down here. He just likes these dudes. He's like these dudish. I mean, look at the man hands here. And just looks like a more dudish version of Melinda Gates. He really likes those dudes. And so college student dead after loose tire smashes through windshield on highway. Like, things are getting crazy out there. One time I was driving on an Atlanta highway. I was in the passenger seat. My friend was driving the car. This is like 1990. And there was like multiple stacked roads. Like the roads are, these crisscrossing roads that are stacked like vertically. And all of a sudden a tire comes flying off one of those things. And we were like in the right lane, and it bounced down the center of the highway, just bouncing straight down the highway, like it would have definitely went through somebody's windshield. This is the young woman who died. So that's, there's just crazy stuff that can happen out there. Tiger Woods' ex-girlfriend Erica Herman drops $30 million lawsuit against his estate. What did she do as his girlfriend that's worth $30 million? Right? I mean, what could possibly she claim that her time with him is worth $30 million? They weren't married, and even, Phoenix scorches at 110 for 19th straight day, breaking big U.S. city records in global heat wave. I was already covering this. I somehow, as weather system blows the smoke in from Canada. So, things are getting reals out there. Charlotte's Miles Bridges apologizes for pain and embarrassment from domestic violence arrest. The big news here is he's signed a 1-year deal for $7.9 million, and he was going to sign a multi-year contract worth $120. So he lost a significant amount of money. There's a felony charge stemming from he assaulted the mother of his children in front of them. But remember how they, at the same time, Kyrie Irving was getting, slammed for posting something on social media that wasn't even his. It was a link to something. So there's just a double standard here. Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro welcome first baby via circuit. And so she has had, I believe, brain cancer, and then she had pancreatic cancer, which I guess you don't recover from. So back to back. And I don't think it's wise. Well, I guess they have money, so there's that. But there they are at a basketball game. And she has a baby now. And, wearing a Fast and Furious t-shirt. And she has a cancer-ridden history. And they are, bringing a baby into their life. Okay, so when I was editing this video, there's a number of comments that came in. And so this one here, it's my understanding that the movie is to bring awareness of human trafficking to the world stage. This is a subject that is so horrific to the average person that it's easier to not think about. This is just a first step to bringing it to the forefront. You can't ignore something that's been put right in front of you. Okay, so the bringing awareness, there's a few comments about this. I'm going to address them all at once. One person wrote, wow, you're really being a hard ass, right? It's amazing. This person comments quite a bit. It's amazing that, like, when I'm agreeing with somebody, I'm being reasonable. But when I say something that goes against your beliefs or your whatever it is, I'm a hard ass, right? Paul is full up. Boop. It's funny how the media and its agents are playing down this true life story because the sexualization of children is fast on the way. Laws are being changed so grown adults can have boop with children, so children can make the decision at 15, cut off their own, whatever. Parents are actually consenting to this nonsense. You guys are laughing at something so serious. The movie sucks, though. It's a failure. You guys are missing the point here. And then this last one. Please be safe and take all 5 of the COVID boops. You already took at least 3 of them. Just finish the job. So this is what this person is saying to me about the movie. They wish me harm. And, just to understand this, I was anti-boo before you guys even thought about it. My kids who are in their 20s did not get the boop, any of them. And they're all doing well and healthy. So this was 20 years ago. I knew about this stuff, 25 years ago. And so, that's just the point about all this stuff that I've been saying. There's a number of other comments about raising awareness. and you're not understanding. And there's another comment where a person said, they don't make movies for demographics, and then they quoted like Marvel. They put Marvel and, whatever these big, budget movies are that are, for everybody, like Avatar and things like that, right? But, that's blockbuster movies that cost a lot of money to make, and they're putting them out there so they'll be universally watched. But then there are all kinds of movies that are made for demographics and TV shows that are made for specific demographics, right? Like if you go to Netflix right now, they have, and a lot of these other platforms have like LGBTQ as a category, right? There's all these genres of movies, science fiction movies. There's, romance movies, different kinds of comedies, romantic comedy and dark comedies. I mean, there's all these kind of movies that are put out for specific demographics, right? And this movie is put out for you QB type people, right-wing Trumpers who vote Republican, who have been, have a certain profile. And you're not going to raise awareness because you guys all know about this. This isn't going, like I said, if it's not even making it past the smell test for truthers, it's not going to make it out to the mainstream. And it's so easy to dismiss. It's the word I was using in my last video. You can just easily dismiss this as being, the QBs made it easy to dismiss these type of, crimes that are going on. And we all agree that these crimes are going on, and we agree that there's an agenda being pushed to sexualize kids. The movie hurts that, hurts fighting back against that agenda. You don't understand that. Like, I don't know how you cannot understand this, right? I mean, I know it happens. I knew it would happen because we've seen this over and over again, because you still don't, get Trump as a problem. You still won't back off from your, delusional. I mean, you have to first accept that there was a, intelligence community, probably the NSA, maybe the CIA, maybe joint, or maybe its own separate task force that ran an operation called QAnon. If you can't accept that, like you got sucked into something that was run by your enemies, you have been, targeted by, why do you think they targeted you? Why do you think that QAnon existed? Like, this whole thing. And even if you didn't totally believe in it, you're Q adjacent, you're QB adjacent. And there have been things that have been run in the so-called truth community to target people and make you into an asset. And QBs are an asset. And this movie is the same thing. It's to make you into an asset. And you're saying, well, it's a raising awareness. Well, tell me one liberal person who saw this and changed their mind. Tell me one independent person that saw this and changed their mind or didn't know about this ahead of time. This is targeted at a group of people, a demographic of people. And that's why this guy's appearing on Fox News, this guy, Tim Ballard, who's a governmental agent. He hasn't quit. He's a part of it, right? They're all a part of it. Like, this is, not a independent underdog movie. It beat it beat Indiana Jones, right? As a blockbuster, because all these people out there who are very passionate about this. It's a strong demographic of, 20% of Republicans or more. I don't know how many QBs there are. And so that's a lot of people. It's millions upon millions of people. But you can't do anything because you've had your nuts clipped by Trump being played, and the Operation Warp Speed, the way he handled COVID and the way he went out, and Trump played himself and played you, denied you guys at the end, and now is embracing your narratives, all of these things. And so this movie isn't going to go out past your demographic of people. It's not watchable. Someone wrote to me, just wrote a comment. I didn't save it. It's somewhere there, though. It's still, I didn't obviously take it down. The person said they went to see this movie out of curiosity and walked out halfway through it. It's horrible. And so people outside your demographic don't like this movie. I can't say it enough. I can't even stomach the trailer. It's unwatchable. And you don't understand why. And you should. Like, that's your job. Like, if you understood why, figure out why people can't watch this, why it's just specific to your belief system, then you don't understand, the truth aspect of anything, right? You're myopic in your view. You think everybody's just like you, and they're going to, believe everything just like you are. But aside from that, we've already seen these truther narratives have been out since 2002. The truth movement started on YouTube in 2002, 3, 4, 5, and took off. And all of these things have been exposed truthfully. There's been great videos. There's been, disinformation. There's been all these things. But the narratives are out there. And almost all Americans know about the narratives. It's everywhere. They know, and they're making a choice. And Americans' ability, or people's ability, sheeple's ability to stick their head in the sand and to, rearrange reality is impressive in its scope. Their inability to deny the truth that's in front of them. I say this today, somebody I'm dealing with a Heartfulness person that showed up on my Gratefullness channel and was basically supporting Dodgy's, if you've seen any of my videos. His, corruption, it's so obvious, right? And I've seen this over and over again. If you want to believe something, you will go to immense effort to deny the reality exposing your belief. And that's why there are belief wars. And it's across the board, exists here in the truth community. We all have to fight against it. We all have to fight against our subjectivity and, wanting to be right and not wanting to be duped or played or, admitting that we, whatever. It's like a sign of weakness for people. And, people who mock and make fun of sheeple all the time. And then they realize they're sheeple, right? Like the QBs are sheeple. They're all sheeple. It's the most sheeple thing out there. The QBs got so sheepled, they thought they were special. And they got drawn into a cult run by the NSA, and they got sheepled. They sheepled themselves. And so, this movie's for sheeple. And, you can get it or not get it, doesn't matter to me. But it's not going to raise awareness. It's going to hurt because it's makes everything else that's true be dismissed, right? It makes it makes it easier for them to dismiss the reality of child trafficking and all the other evils that are going on. And the information's out there, and it's over. Like, people had a chance to rise up to it, and they didn't. And the truth community isn't any better. So, it's a failure. The truth is there. We all got warned about the disastrous nature of our behaviors, the deceptive nature of our system, and we can all do better. We can all work right now I could work better than I'm working. Like, I could do more to make sure that, there's food. And, my wife and I are building a homestead, and, I dabble in it, right? We're doing it. We've done some collective work. And, I'm, I don't say proud of what we've done, but we've accomplished some things. But, I could do more of it, like we all could. I know what's coming, and I'm only, whatever. I'm not freaked out like I should, and, I'm not trying to build a community, which I should, and, I'm not, all of these things. Like, I just, pockets of future. I knew about pockets of future for the past. It's building something now to sustain the, population of people who are able to gravitate to the truth, especially connect to God internally, and reach out and, build something that can sustain life in the future, human life, right? Living now the way people will have to live in the future. And preparing, being a prepper for what's about to come. And I'm only, I'm not even freaked out at all by it. And I, know what's coming. And we're all going to get shocked and hit by it. So, that is whatever it is. And then, all these things that you think you care about now won't matter because it'll just be about survival. And, that'll be for the best because this demonic system will be taken down. Until that time, we all have a chance to prepare. We all have a chance to be Noah. And very few of us are. Most people are just running their mouths and they don't really care about what they claim to care about. Oh, you went and saw a movie. Oh, good for you. You saw a movie? Oh, wow, you're great. You did a good job. You told other people about the movie. Wow. That's great. It's wonderful. You posted online about the movie? Wow, you're an amazing person. You did all those things? Oh, you're going to save those kids. You saw a movie. You told other people about the movie, and you shared it on social media. Wow, you're freaking impressive. What a patriot. What a wonderful person. You did you did not just one thing. You did 3 things. You did 3 whole things. Oh, my God. It's amazing. Oh, well, you're so wonderful. Like, I can't believe you get a medal for that. You saved, I think you saved like 1 million children. I don't want overestimate it, but I just think you just saved 1 million children. You saw a movie, you told people about the movie, you argued about it online. You're an impressive person. You raised awareness, and I think you just saved 1 million. You might have saved 1 billion children. I don't even know. I mean, it's off the charts. I didn't know anybody would put that much effort into something. Seeing a movie, talking about the movie, and arguing about it online, like, that's just amazing. What are you? What a humanitarian. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting for the Apocalypse and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.